As a medical student and cave diving enthusiast, Steve McAtee has seen his fair share of danger, but nothing could prepare him for the heart-pumping adventure he was about to embark on in the Great Crystal Cave. While visiting his hometown in Kentucky, Steve couldn't resist the pull of the Great Crystal Cave. However, his survival hung in the balance when he encountered an unknown passageway. Would he be able to navigate his way out safely? Would he survive this dive? The Flint Ridge Cave System is a vast and intricate network of caves and underground rivers that stretches throughout the west-central region of Kentucky in the United States. Located entirely within the Mammoth Cave National Park, the surveyed areas of this system are awe-inspiring and filled with endless possibilities for exploration and discovery. Flint Ridge, the plateau that houses the cave system, is characterized by a layer of resistant sandstone and shale that serves as its cap. This layer is underlain by hundreds of feet of limestone, which has been subjected to the corrosive effects of acidic groundwater over time. As the groundwater seeps through the layers of limestone, it gradually dissolves and carries away portions of the rock. At the heart of this system lies Floyd Collins Crystal Cave, which serves as the hub and gateway to the entire Flint Ridge Cave System. With its glittering crystals, twisting passages, and underground waterways, this stunning cave is a testament to the beauty and wonder of the natural world. In September 1917, Floyd Collins was climbing up a bluff on the Collins farm when he noticed something unusual. Cool air was coming from a small hole in the ground. Intrigued, he widened the hole and peered inside, only to discover a cavity that was part of a passage blocked by the breakdown. Undeterred by this setback, Floyd continued to excavate the breakdown, determined to uncover whatever lay beyond. Finally, in December of that same year, he made a breakthrough. He had discovered the sinkhole entrance to what would become known as the Great Crystal Cave. Excited by his discovery, Floyd shared his find with Lee Collins, who was equally impressed. In recognition of his hard work, Lee deeded Floyd a half interest in the cave, and together they decided to turn it into a commercial venture. The entire family set to work preparing the cave for visitors, putting in countless hours of effort to transform it into a show cave that would attract tourists from far and wide. Finally, in April 1918, the cave was ready for its grand opening. Despite the family's tremendous efforts, the cave struggled to attract visitors due to its remote location. Steve McAtee was a 27-year-old caver whose passion for caving was second to none. For him, caving was more than just a hobby, it was a way of life. He spent most of his free time exploring caves, often with his closest friends, in a never-ending quest for adventure and discovery. From an early age, Steve had been fascinated by the world of caving. He used to explore caves with his father and brother since childhood, and this instilled in him a love for exploration that would stay with him for the rest of his life. Apart from his family, Steve also explored caves with his friends, Henry Nelson and Liam Hughes. They were childhood friends, and they all had a passion for swimming while growing up. As Steve grew older, his interest in caving only intensified. He became more experienced and skilled, learning the ins and outs of the sport and discovering new and exciting caves along the way. Steve visited his family after being away at his medical school for a long time. While he was there, he decided to embark on an adventure to explore the Great Crystal Cave with two of his friends, Henry and Liam, whom he had not seen for quite some time. Upon their arrival at the cave at approximately 8 a.m., they meticulously studied the cave's map and strategized their diving plan. The trio had decided to explore no more than 98 feet into the cave before they exited, so as not to overextend themselves. They thoroughly examined their diving equipment and ensured that everything was in proper working order. After doing so, they donned their gear and began their dive at precisely 8:30 a.m. When they had dived for a while, they eventually exited the cave. However, Steve was not quite satisfied with the extent of their exploration and felt compelled to return to the cave to further delve into its depths. Steve suggested to Henry and Liam that they return in 2 days, which would be on a Wednesday, given that he was due to leave on Friday. To his dismay, Henry was set to travel out of town, while Liam had a pre-existing appointment. Despite this setback, Steve remained steadfast in his desire to explore the cave and informed Liam of his plan to dive alone. He shared his detailed dive plan with Liam, disclosing that he intended to dive to a depth of 131 feet. Liam told him that by the time he returned to the surface, he should be back, and he would contact him to inquire about how the exploration went. On a bright Wednesday morning, Steve arrived at Crystal Cave, filled with anticipation and excitement for his solo diving expedition. After having meticulously checked and ensured that all his diving equipment was functioning optimally, he began his dive at precisely 8:40 a.m. With each stroke, Steve marveled at the breathtaking scenery that lay before him, taking in every detail with a sense of awe and wonder. As he continued to dive, he felt an intense desire to push his limits and explore further than his initial 131-foot depth. Fueled by this sense of adventure and exploration, Steve continued to push himself deeper and deeper into the cave, until he missed the actual tunnel he was supposed to take, mistakenly entering a region he was not familiar with and one where the visibility was extremely low. He began crawling through the tiny entrance, and he suddenly realized that he had made a catastrophic mistake. The space he had entered was only 10 inches across and a mere 18 inches high, leaving him with no room to breathe or move. Despite his best efforts, Steve was unable to turn around and extricate himself from the narrow passageway, as the tightness of the space prevented him from doing so. To put it plainly, he was stuck. Upon Liam's return, he phoned Steve to inquire about his dive, but he tried repeatedly with no response. As a result, he grew concerned that Steve might still be diving, which was unlikely. Therefore, he contacted Steve's father to check if he was home, but he was informed that Steve had not yet returned. Liam hastily drove to Crystal Cave, hoping that his friend was safe. When he arrived at the cave, he noticed Steve's vehicle, causing his heart to skip a beat. He attempted to call Steve's phone again, but it rang continuously. Liam approached the truck and heard the ringing phone. He inquired if anyone had seen Steve leaving the cave, but no one had. Consequently, he alerted the cave officials of the possible danger that his friend might be in, and 2 rescue divers were immediately summoned to the scene. Liam also contacted Steve's father, Harry, to inform him of the situation. Harry promptly set out for the cave without delay. After suiting up and checking their gear properly, Liam informed the rescue team about Steve's dive plan, providing them with the necessary information to begin the dive. Once they were all set, they set out into the water and began their descent. They dived further, following Steve's dive plan. They eventually stumbled upon Steve's body, which was lodged in the narrow passage. It was at that moment that they realized that he had made a fatal mistake and had taken a wrong turn, causing him to run out of air and become trapped. Despite their best efforts, the team was unable to retrieve Steve's body due to the difficulty of the passage and the amount of silt that had kicked up during their initial recovery attempt. To avoid any further danger, they decided to abandon their efforts and return at a later time with more experienced divers and better visibility. The following day, 2 experienced recovery divers joined the team, and together they were able to retrieve Steve's body after a 3-hour-long operation. However, it was not a pleasant sight, as his joints had become dislocated from being pulled out of the confined space and trapped for so long. Using the information gathered from the dive profile and the cave map, experts were able to piece together the sequence of events that led to Steve's tragic death. The autopsy revealed that he had drowned, and it was estimated that he had been stuck in the passage for around 35 minutes before running out of air. Steve's loved ones grieved his untimely passing, but they also honored his memory for having lived a rich and fulfilling life. While it may appear that even seasoned professionals cannot be entirely cautious when cave diving, isn't taking risks a fundamental aspect of living? To all those who engage in cave diving, remember to prioritize safety and adhere strictly to all diving protocols. We would like to thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed watching, take a dive on the like and subscribe buttons and hit the bell icon so you get notified when we come back with another exciting cave story.